Hey guys, how's it going? On this week's video, I'll be breaking down the concept of loading one side of your body. So some people may be under the impression that when I talk about loading a side, I'm merely talking about adding weight or putting weight on one leg versus the other, or using one arm as opposed to the other when doing upper body exercises. This couldn't be further from the truth. When I'm referring to loading a side, I'm talking about managing airflow, respiration, and gravity at a specific moment in the gait cycle. So depending on who you talk to, depending on what a person's background may be, there are various ways of interpreting or breaking down the gait cycle, walking, locomotion, right? So for the purposes of this conversation, I'll be talking about 3 phases and focusing merely on one. So the first part, landing, as you're starting to put weight onto the floor with your foot, this is known as heel strike. All right, so now you're about to make contact with the floor, you're about to interact with the floor with one side of your body. That's heel strike. Push off or toe off is going to be when you are starting to shift weight to the other leg. So heel strike, push off. There exists another phase somewhere in the middle known as mid stance. This is where the entirety of your foot's on the floor, and it gives you the opportunity and the potential to acquire the most amount of somatosensory feedback within the gait cycle, right? Because heel strike, you just have heel, and then toe off, you just have toe. So you don't really have a lot of real estate in order for you to negotiate a relationship with the floor. All right, so what does this look like? If you look at it from, let's do the ground up, it's going to look like a foot that can authentically supinate, so you're going to get a lot of post-tib and abductor hallucis. You're going to look at a tibia or a shin bone that can externally rotate. You're looking or you're looking at a femur and a pelvis that can internally rotate. You're looking at that same side pelvis that can posteriorly rotate. You're looking at ribs on that side that can close down and internally rotate, so internal obliques can make these two sets of bones face one another. You're looking at serratus that can help you with authentic protraction, so that the upper rib cage is going to be retracted as that shoulder blade gets the potential to glide forward authentically. Right? So you're looking at all of this integration from the ground up to the shoulder complex, and it's doing things in a way that allow it to leverage the structures that exist so that you can most efficiently deal with gravity. Because imagine if you're trying to do all these things and then you suddenly arch your back, right? So now you're shifting your center of pressure forward on the foot. You're no longer able to balance and stabilize with an arch because now you're tipped forward. Now you have to recruit other musculature and other resources in order for you to remain upright. If you're able to utilize the sensation of increased pressure on your keel, the muscles of the lower limb that I talked about, adductors, hamstrings, obliques, and serratus, if you're able to leverage all of those things, you're going to be able to manage gravity and airflow in the most efficient way. When you start getting different feedback, right, now you are starting to utilize other structures and other systems that are not conducive to being efficient. Okay? And now this is when you're not going to be able to align the structures of your body, namely the bones, in a way that they were actually designed to be used. So that's what I'm talking about when I say load aside, or loading stance, is that there's a specific configuration that we are looking for. Not only is there a specific position that we're looking for, how you acquire that position also matters. Because let's say if you're doing an exhale, right? You can exhale, and when you exhale, you immediately tighten up your rectus, you just try to flex. Flexing to get abs to exhale is not the show. Learning how to exhale and the end of the exhale getting the feedback from your obliques, that is a more accurate representation of what needs to happen. Okay? So it's not just about the position, like, hey, does this look right to you? No, you're missing the whole point. The issue is how you acquire the position, what you're able to feel when trying to acquire the position, and then can you troubleshoot movement with this new understanding. So it's not just coming in and me showing you how to move or execute a drill or what have you. It's about what are you getting out of the drill? How skilled are you at mining somatosensory feedback from your environment through this drill? All right? It's not, hey, just do a couple of sets of this and we're going to make X muscle stronger so that you can feel better. That's not it at all. People that come in with that level of understanding don't really understand how the body and the brain are connected and how movement actually works. Sorry, science. So Let me know if that makes sense. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. If you don't know what I mean by foot supination, check out that video. And feel free to visit my website, www.mejorstrength.com. Find me on Instagram at Mejor Strength. That's Mejor. And yeah, I'll see all of you next Tuesday. Bye.